Hello and welcome back to another video in the Complete Web Developer series. In this series we are building, or in this chapter rather, we are building an API using Node.js. In the last video we got our middleware working for authentication in our JWT token. So in this video we're going to take a little bit of time and just go through the routes that we've already finished and secure those routes with our middleware, and also incorporate the user ID that we get from our JWT token in order to do our API or our database calls. So let's jump right in. I'm going to switch over to my screen real quick. And this is going to be video 10. So I'm going to do git checkout-b v10. And that's a new branch. So I'm going to go ahead and push that up. So we have to do the set upstream flag. And we're going to make that origin v10. Once we've done that, we are going to go ahead and make sure that examp is up and running. You really just need the database or MySql for this. You don't really need Apache or anything like that, but it's easier for me to run the whole thing. And then what I'm going to do here, let's see, is go ahead and start the server by doing npm start. All right, and once I've done that, let's go ahead and jump over. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need the to-dos controller open and our to-dos routes. So we can pretty much close most of everything else for right now. Let's see. Yep, we can close everything else. So just the to-dos controller and the to-dos routes. And what we want to do is go ahead and we're going to put middleware on all of these, and so what we can do now is we're going to do our const user, what did I call that in my last one? Let's see here. User auth is what I called it. All right, so we will come in here and call that user auth, and we'll require that from our middleware directory, and that is our check auth file, and that will be exported in that file, and so we can import it just like that. Then all we have to do in our routes is right here is we're going to add in another parameter in the middle here just called user auth on the routes that we want to make sure that they have a token on. So we can do that just like that, and I'm just going to copy this and we will paste this on, because all of the to-do routes we want to secure, make sure they have a token, and we'll save that. Now if you go to the to-dos controller, starting with the get all, we had hard coded the user ID to be 1. But if you look in the auth, the check auth here, we set user data into the request. So now what we can do is right here, this request, we can actually get request.userdata.id, okay, and that will be user ID there. So let's go ahead and let's save that and test that out. So that was, we want to go to the to-dos, and that was a get request. So we'll hit send here. You can see that I get back a 0. So let's go and see why. If I go, let's see here, let's bring up our browser and let's go to localhost phpMyAdmin and click on the API database, and let's go to our to-dos. Now our to-dos are all set for user ID 1, but if we look, let's go back to API. Let's look at our users, and my logged in user is ID 2. And so in order for me to fix this, I'm going to need to go to my to-dos, and I need to change these user IDs to user ID 2. You do it to match your user ID. Now if I go ahead and open up Postman and we run it again, you can see that I get those 3 IDs back now, or these 3 to-dos back. So now we know that we are getting that from our token. When remember, our token is coming in through the authorization header, and this is a bearer token. And inside that bearer token, we are authenticating that token, make sure it's signed correctly, and make sure they haven't messed with it. and then make sure it's not expired. And if all that's true, then we can actually set the user ID in our request, which is happening here in this middleware right here. So this request.userData is coming from the decoded JWT token. And so now we can just kind of follow suit with that. So I'm going to copy this right here, this request user ID or user data, copy that. And everywhere I'm getting the user ID, where we were hard coding that, we will just plug that in. So that's on the create, and we'll check that in just a moment. We'll do the find by ID as well, and we'll check that one. We'll do the update, and we will do the delete. Okay, so now let's go ahead and test each one of these routes out. The first one is create, and to create this, all we need to do is we need to post to this same to-dos route here. And for the body, we are going to post name, we'll say new to do, and that's it. We'll hit send, and now we get this back here, and completed is false. Yep, that's correct. And so that route worked. Let's go ahead now and use our find by ID, which that route was going to be the get, but we have to append onto the route. So we'll just do the 5 here, and this is going to be a get request. And if we do that, we get our one to do back, the one we just created. And I could use a different ID if I want, so we don't get one back for 4, because that's one of them we deleted. And now we get this one back for 3. So okay, so our find this one, find by ID one's working. Let's use our patch, which I assume is also going to work. So let's patch in on 5. So we'll send a patch request. And what I want to do here is change completed to true. All right, and we'll send that. Now you can see that we get this back as true, and if we go and check our database, let me just refresh this. The to do with ID of 5 is completed. Perfect. So that's working. The last one we need to do is our delete, and there's 2 ways that I want to check this delete. First of all, let's just go ahead and create a couple delete ones. And we can do that either in our database here, but since we're working here, let's go ahead and add this here. We'll go to post, and let's just add one called delete me. We'll hit send. Oops. Yeah, so I didn't send the name key along with that. Oops, my bad. So there we go, we got delete me, and I'm actually gonna do this twice. The reason I'm gonna do that twice is because I'm gonna manipulate this in a database here, because I want to show you something. And I'm gonna change this ID 7, I'm gonna change that user ID to 1, okay? Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to delete the ID 6, and that should be successful. And then we're gonna try to delete ID 7. So if I put ID 6 here and we go to a delete and hit send, this to do is now deleted. If I change this to 7, this should give us an error, and it says to do not found. Now why does it say to do not found? Well, it says to do not found because in our delete action here, we are getting the to do by the request params ID, which we sent along with the request, and that was 7. And then because of our token, we were setting the user ID equal to, in our case, 2, but this comes from our token. So it tries to find a to-do that has an ID equal to 7 and a user ID equal to 2, but since we manually updated that in a database, it doesn't find one, because now this is what makes sure that our users can't delete other people's to-dos just by entering random IDs. Okay, so it's a little bit of security there. And so that is good to go. So the next thing that we're going to do here is let's just, let's see, all of our to-dos are done. And let's just go ahead and in our users, well, you know what? Let's see. Yeah, and we would also add this into our contacts, but we're going to wait till the next video. And in the next video, we haven't actually done our contacts controller actions yet. So in the next video, we will do authentication on our routes. Okay, so we'll add the middleware in here, and then we will go and we will write each one of these operations, these CRUD operations. So this is a read, this is a write, this is a read, this is an update, and this is a delete. Okay, so we're going to update all of those to work, and then we will have a fully working API for contacts and to-dos, and we will have users where we can log in and update the users. Let me just check to make sure we finish that. Yeah. Yep, that's good to go. All right, so it looks pretty good now. So I think we're only going to have one more video to finish up this entire chapter, and we will finish up our contacts controller, and then we'll be ready. Our API will be ready for primetime use, and we will start the next chapter writing a front end that will utilize this API using React.js. All right, guys. Well, I will see you in the next video, and we will wrap this up. Peace out. Please comment, like, subscribe, and visit me on patreon.com/freeskills. Peace out, guys. Love you. Bye for real this time. See you later.